So here's a quick test review. 4 questions. If you will push pause on the video, try them on your own, and then come back to the video to see if you did those correctly. So let's start with the first one. It is 5 times the absolute value of 2 minus x is greater than or equal to 10. We have to isolate the absolute value, divide both sides by 5, and we get 2 minus x is greater than or equal to 2. So now we're going to write this as 2 expressions. 2 minus x is less than or equal to negative 2. We're going to subtract 2 from each side, and we get negative x is greater than or equal to 0. I'm going to divide by negative 1, divide by negative 1, and we get x, change the sign because we're divided by a negative, is less than or equal to 0. Okay. Let's do the other one. We're going to subtract 2 and subtract 2. We get negative x is less than or equal to negative 4. We're going to divide by negative 1 and divide by negative 1, and we get x, change the sign, is greater than 4. All right, so in another color, I'm going to come up here. I'm going to go down. So I'm going to go ahead and make a number line, and I'm going to place 0 on the number line and 4 on the number line. Because we have the equal sign, I'm going to shade them in. This says x is less than 0, so I'm going to shade this way. This says x is greater than 4, so I'm going to shade this way. So there we have it, problem number 1. It's problem number 2. The absolute value of 2x plus 7 was equal to 27. The absolute value is already isolated, so we're going to go ahead with our 2 equation. 2x plus 7 is equal to 27, and 2x minus 7 is equal to negative 27. We're going to subtract 7 on each side, and we get 2x is equal to 20. Divide by 2, and x is equal to 10. We're going to add 7 to each side, plus 7. Made a mistake. This is a plus 7. So this one is going to be minus 7, minus 7. So then this is 2x is equal to negative 34. Divide by 2, and x is equal to negative 17. Number line, 10, negative 17, and only dots right there. Let's check out the third one. This one is the absolute value of 1/3 x minus 2 is less than 1. So 1/3 x minus 2 is less than 1. 1/3 x minus 2 is greater than negative 1. So students are tempted to start with multiplying through by 3. I'm going to ask that you do the easy stuff first, add or subtract. So we're going to add the inverse. So 1/3 x is less than 3, and then we're going to multiply both sides by 3. So x is less than 9. We're going to add 2 and add 2. 1/3 x is greater than 1. Multiply by 3, multiply by 3, and x is greater than 3. So we put 3 on the number line, we put 9 on the number line. We have open circles. It says here that x is less than 9, so that's to the left. Over here, x is greater than 3, so that's here. Another way to write this would be 3 and 9, x in between. So we're saying 3 is less than x, which is less than 9. Just a different way of writing it. Let's check out this last one. The last one just tells us that 5 is less than x is less than 10, and they want us to graph that solution. Well, this ought to be easy after we just did the last one. Here's 5, here's 10, color it in, color it in. Anytime you have a compound inequality, my x values are between 5 and 10, so that means I'm shading between 5 and 10. Let's do one more. Let's see, what could we do one more? Let's do one where we have to graph it. Okay, here. Okay, so we need to write the equation of the graph. Oh, let me do this one more thing. And this is the shading. So the first thing I want to do is identify the vertex. And the vertex is 2, 1. And if you want to try this on your own, you can pause the video and actually try it on your own. All right, so our general equation is y is equal to ax minus h plus k. So we want to know the dilation or the slope. So I, from the vertex, go up 2 and over 1. So my a is going to be 2 over 1, or I can say 2. My x, because it went to the right 2, is going to be x minus 2. And it was in the air 2. Nope, in the air 1. So here it is. The problem is this is not an equation. It is an inequality. So you want to change this into an inequality, and your options are, is it less than or is it going to be greater than? Well, the shading is below the graph. You always want to kind of figure out where the shading is. So it's below the graph, it's going to be less than, but we're going to just try it out. So y is less than 2, x minus 2 plus 1. We're going to check 0, 0 and see if that's the solution. 0 is less than 2. This is going to be 2 plus 1, and 0 is less than 4 plus 1, and 0 is less than 5, and it does check out. So we definitely shaded in the right place. So hopefully that small review helps.